Konnichiwa minasan, and welcome back to my channel. I am Reina Scully, coming to you from Japan, and this video is brought to you by Rosetta Stone. So today, I thought I would teach you 5 bizarre Japanese terms and phrases that cannot be translated into English. So when I used to translate anime from Japanese into English, I had a lot of difficulty with these words because some of them are very deeply embedded in Japanese culture. So there needs to be a lot of contextual explanations when forcing them into English. So I thought you might enjoy learning some of these uniquely Japanese terms and phrases that'll make you sound like you really know Japanese. But before we begin, if you are truly interested in learning Japanese but don't quite know where to start, I highly recommend Rosetta Stone. It implements no translation learning, which is extremely helpful when learning vocabulary, especially as a beginner. And it also incorporates a lot of auditory components from the very beginning, so it acclimates you to the language pretty quickly. Getting used to hearing Japanese and understanding the cadence will deeply improve your learning experience. I cannot stress this enough. Rosetta Stone also does a good job building on the previous lesson, so all of the words and concepts you learned before will be reinforced as you move on and advance to the next level. If you're interested in Rosetta Stone, be sure to click the link in my description. There's also a great discount on all their monthly subscriptions. Plus, you can unlock unlimited access for $1.99, which allows you to learn as many languages as you want on one account, and once you have Rosetta Stone, you have it for life. Now, on to the first bizarre Japanese word that can't be translated, nekojita. Nekojita literally means cat tongue, but it describes somebody who has a hard time eating hot food. So let's say that you're enjoying some hot, steamy miso soup, and the person that you're eating with is blowing on it a lot to cool it off while you are completely unfazed by its temperature. You would describe that person as nekojita. This is to say that their tongue is sensitive to hot food or hot beverages. I guess this comes from the fact that cats tend to avoid hot food. When using it in a sentence, it may go something like nekojita dakara taberenai, which literally means since I have a cat tongue, I can't eat it, and then you understand that what they're talking about is hot food. Although you don't convey such things in English, nekojita is a completely common and normal word that we use in Japanese. I guess in English you'd say something or exclaim something like, "Oh, that's too hot," instead of having to convey that you're physically unable to tolerate it. Quick sidebar, the English idiom of cat got your tongue has nothing to do with nekojita, even though it almost seems like it should. Idioms rarely have a parallel translation in Japanese, and in the case of cat got your tongue, you'd simply ask why they aren't talking or why they aren't responding. Next is dogeza. So dogeza is a very specifically Japanese concept where you kneel all the way onto the ground on all fours and press your forehead against the ground in front of you. It's to show that you're very subordinate to whoever you're doing this to, and you only do this when you are either deeply apologizing for something or when you're asking for a huge favor. The act of dogeza is very humiliating and shameful, as it is dramatic because it's an overt physical action that's calling attention to the fact that you are either 100% in the wrong and asking for forgiveness, begging for forgiveness really, or you're asking for a favor that is so massive that you're going beyond what you are capable of accomplishing yourself, which is considered disgraceful. You wouldn't normally hear the word dogeza in a sentence as it is quite extreme, but if you were to, it would probably be something like dogeza shite ayamarinasai, which roughly translates to get on your knees and beg for forgiveness. Now let's move on to something a little bit more positive, seishun. So the kanji for seishun is literally blue spring, and it basically means the springtime of youth. So in anime or manga, it's usually associated with falling in love for the first time or wholesomely enjoying your adolescence, like making memories with your friends. So if you recall the thrill and joy of being a teenager and experiencing all these really intense new feelings, that is pretty much what encapsulates seishun. For example, I have a bunch of second cousins that are about like 16 to 18 years old, and some of them have boyfriends, and a lot of them go to Disneyland and look look like they're having the time of their life, I would say something like 青春だね to fondly connote that it looks like they're really enjoying their youth. Next up is おもてなし. Omotenashi in its simplest form could be translated as hospitality, but it is significantly deeper than just being a great host or having excellent customer service. To deliver omotenashi is to think of every and any little thing that your guest may want or need during their experience with you, and to anticipate what they want before they even express it to you. The philosophy behind omotenashi is to value your guest or customer without expecting anything in return whatsoever, like thank yous or tips. By the way, there's no tipping in Japan, so if you come to Japan, do not tip. Since omotenashi is a concept slash philosophy, you don't really often see it in sentences. I guess the only way it would make sense would be if you're thanking someone for their omotenashi, in which case that would be 親切なおもてなしを感謝してます. 親切 means thoughtful, omotenashi is the hospitality. Well, 感謝してます means I appreciate it. And finally, いってらっしゃい. If you watch a lot of anime, I'm sure you've come across this expression before, but you say いってらっしゃい to someone who is leaving. The closest literal translation would be go be on your way, but what it really means is have a great day or have a great time. いってらっしゃい is what the person that is sending someone off says, and 行ってきます is what the person that's leaving would say, and it just means I'll be going now. Both 行ってらっしゃい and 行ってきます are derived from the word 行く, which means to go or leave. They both behave as full sentences, so you don't need any other words to accommodate them. You can just treat them as callbacks to one another. And that is it for today's video. Did you happen to know any of those non-translatable Japanese words? If so, please let me know which ones and how you came across them in my comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and click the link in my description to get a great discount on Rosetta Stone so you can start learning Japanese or any other language. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. そんじゃまたね!